What do you get when you mix creativity, genius, and a whole lot of cash? The most epic albums in music history, where every beat, every lyric, and every note is dripping in luxury.
Oppan Gangnam Style.
I know he broke the internet with that song where you can't understand a word he's saying, but he doesn't even make our list. This is Opulence luxury. All we do here is talk about rich and expensive things, and now it is about music. These albums prove just how expensive it can get to chase fame. Join us as we uncover the staggering costs behind the most expensive music albums ever made. But before we begin, subscribe to this channel and hit the notification button for more Opulence videos.
You know that we are living in a material world, and I am a material girl.
Happy Mondays. Yes, please. Happy Mondays' 1992 album, Yes, Please, became an expensive misstep with no specific price tag, but ultimately drove Factory Records into bankruptcy. Recorded in the sunny surroundings of Barbados, the band quickly burned through their drug advances, especially after Shawn Ryder's brief return to sobriety. Unfortunately, the album failed to produce any hit singles, and Factory Records' risky investment in Happy Mondays led to financial ruin just weeks after its launch. While the album did reach the top 20, its lead single, Stinkin' Thinkin', peaked at a disappointing number 31 on the UK charts, and the follow-up, Sunshine and Love, didn't even crack the top 40. Pity! This album marked the final release from the original label as the group disbanded in 1993. Metallica, the Black Album. Metallica spared no expense on the Black Album, which featured 5 hit singles, including Enter Sandman, The Unforgiven, Nothing Else Matters, Wherever I May Roam, and Sad But True. Debuting in 1991 under Elektra Records, the album received widespread acclaim. Known for their pursuit of perfection, the band worked closely with producer Bob Rock, resulting in 3 remixes and a production cost of $1 million. The album even included a promotional track, Don't Tread on Me, and led to an extensive tour. Despite tensions during recording, it reached number 1 in 10 countries and topped the Billboard 200 for 4 weeks, becoming Metallica's best-selling album with 30 million copies sold worldwide. It is recognized as the top-selling album of the SoundScan era and received a 16 times platinum certification from the RIAA in 2012. Fleetwood Mac, Tusk. Fleetwood Mac invested over $1 million in the production of Tusk, with guitarist Lindsey Buckingham taking charge after the monumental success of Rumors. Buckingham's meticulous style shines in the album's title track, which carries a semi-tribal feel. To enhance the song, the band enlisted 112 members of the University of Southern California's marching band, known as the Spirit of Troy. In 1997, Fleetwood Mac reunited for a memorable performance on The Dance, which was initially filmed as an MTV special and later released as a live album. The USC band revisited their role from Tusk, delivering a lively rendition of the Rumors classic, Don't Stop. Since 1924, the Spirit of Troy has collaborated with many artists, including Henry Mancini, Diana Ross, Neil Diamond, Slash, The Offspring, John Williams, Michael Jackson, Radiohead, Coheed, and Cambria, and Beyoncé. The Darkness, One Way Ticket to Hell and Back. One Way Ticket to Hell and Back marks the second studio album from the British rock band The Darkness, boasting a production budget of $1.3 million. Released in November 2005 through Atlantic Records, it climbed to number 11 on the UK album chart and eventually achieved platinum status in the UK. The album included 3 singles, with the standout track, One Way Ticket, and its successor, Is It Just Me, impressively rising to the 8th spot on the UK singles chart. In 2006, Justin Hawkins left the band after completing a rehabilitation program for alcohol and cocaine addiction. His departure, along with the album's disappointing sales, led Atlantic Records to drop the band in October of that year. Following the split, the remaining members formed a new group called Stone Gods and continued creating music without Hawkins. In March 2011, The Darkness announced their reunion, featuring original bassist Frankie Poulin, and performed at events like Download Festival 2011 and the Isle of Wight Festival 2012. Kanye West, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Kanye West's My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy stands as a landmark in hip-hop, showcasing a lavish production style and a maximalist approach. This ambitious project weaves together influences from soul, pop, baroque, electro, and symphonic music, all while costing an astounding $3 million to produce. The album explores complex themes, including West's fame, consumerism, self-promotion, and the pursuit of the American dream. The album features a star-studded lineup of guest artists, including Nicki Minaj, Rihanna, Jay-Z, Pusha T, Rick Ross, Kid Cudi, John Legend, Bon Iver, and Elton John. Garnering widespread acclaim, it debuted at the top of the United States Billboard 200 and the Canadian Albums Chart. It achieved triple platinum status in the US from the RIAA and has been hailed as one of the greatest albums ever by esteemed publications like Pitchfork and Rolling Stone. Korn. Untouchables. Next up, Untouchables. A game changer with a hefty production cost of over $3 million. This figure covers recording and living expenses, as well as retaining their 15-member crew throughout the nearly 2-year recording process. The investment not only showcased Korn's ambition, but also set a new benchmark for production in the nu metal genre. Korn's 5th studio album, Untouchables, debuted on June 11, 2002, featuring the Grammy-winning track Here to Stay. Upon its release, the nu metal powerhouse soared to number 2 on the Billboard 200 chart, selling over 400,000 copies in its opening week, second only to Eminem's The Eminem Show. Critics also responded positively to the album. Furthermore, it was certified platinum on July 11, 2002, and has since sold over 1.4 million copies in the United States. Def Leppard, Hysteria. Hysteria took over 3 years to produce, facing numerous delays, most notably due to drummer Rick Allen's tragic accident in December 1984, which resulted in the loss of his left arm. By the time the album was finally ready for release, its production costs had exceeded $4.5 million. Produced by Robert John Mutt Lang, the album's title was inspired by Allen's car accident and the intense media scrutiny that followed. Hysteria also marked the final album, featuring guitarist Steve Clark, before his untimely death in 1991, though his contributions were felt in their subsequent release, Adrenalize. The album achieved immediate commercial success, topping both the Billboard 200 and the United Kingdom Albums Chart. It has become Def Leppard's best-selling album, with over 20 million copies sold globally. Featuring 7 hit singles, it solidified its status as one of the best-selling albums in history. Following its release, the band shared their journey through the recording process in a book titled Animal Instinct: The Def Leppard Story, authored by Rolling Stone's David Fricke, which highlights the challenges they faced during the mid-1980s. Garth Brooks, In. The Life of Chris Gaines. With a production cost of $5 million, In. The Life of Chris Gaines, also known as Greatest Hits, stands out as a unique project in music history. In 1999, country pop sensation Garth Brooks made a bold and unconventional move by adopting the persona of Chris Gaines, an alter ego that allowed him to venture into the world of rock and roll. This artistic experiment showcased his versatility and sparked widespread conversation among fans and critics alike. Adding to that, Brooks felt compelled to apologize to his fellow artists for the distraction his project caused. The Life of Chris Gaines reached number 2 on the United States Billboard 200 and climbed to number 5 on the Canadian Albums chart. While it managed to sell over 2 million copies, the sales fell far short of expectations, marking it as a significant commercial failure. Originally intended to serve as a soundtrack for a film titled The Lamb, the project never came to fruition, and the Chris Gaines experiment was ultimately abandoned. Guns N' Roses, Chinese Democracy. With a production cost of $13 million, Chinese Democracy was released on November 23, 2008. The album, produced under the banners of Black Frog and Geffen Records, was highly anticipated by fans and critics alike due to the lengthy pause since Guns N' Roses' last original studio album. The journey to Chinese Democracy was fraught with challenges that spanned nearly a decade. The album's development was marked by a series of obstacles, including personnel changes within the band, legal disputes, and interference from the record label. The detailed and often perfectionist nature of frontman Axl Rose also contributed to the protracted timeline, with Rose taking over production duties alongside Karam Costanzo. In the United States, sales fell short of expectations, and while it performed better in Europe, it still failed to recoup the exorbitant production expenses. Unsurprisingly, the album hardly felt like a true Guns N' Roses release, especially after the departures of key members Slash, Duff McKagan, Izzy Stradlin, Matt Sorum, and longtime producer Mike Klink. Michael Jackson, Invincible. Ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the pinnacle of this video, and the mantle rests on none other than the king of pop, Michael Jackson. Invincible stands as Michael Jackson's 10th studio album, released on October 30th, 2001, following its recording from October 1997 to September 2001. This album gained notoriety as his final release before his passing in 2009, showcasing innovative musical styles, including early dubstep influences. Selling over 10 million copies worldwide, it was recognized by Billboard readers as the best album of the decade in 2009. MJ began working on the album just 5 days after wrapping up the History World Tour on October 15, 1997, collaborating with Brad Buxer and Michael Prince. For this comeback, the king of pop sought to embrace the R&B sound of the late 1990s and early 2000s. Over its 4-year development, Jackson invested a staggering $30 million into production, solidifying its status as the most expensive album ever produced. The price of perfection? These albums prove it's worth every penny. Thanks for joining us on this journey of sound and splurge. Stay tuned for more video insights.